When you are angry, your emotions can easily take control, leading you to say things you might later regret. Anger clouds judgment and impairs rational thinking, often making people react impulsively rather than responding thoughtfully. In the heat of the moment, words can come out harsh, exaggerated, or even completely untrue, causing unnecessary harm to relationships and reputations. Silence in moments of anger allows you to regain control over your emotions. It gives you time to process what has triggered your frustration and to evaluate whether a response is even necessary. Many conflicts escalate because people speak before thinking, adding fuel to the fire instead of calming the situation. By choosing silence, you create space for reflection, helping you determine the best way to handle the situation without causing regret. Furthermore, staying silent when angry prevents unnecessary misunderstandings. When emotions run high, words can be misinterpreted, and even a small remark can be taken the wrong way. Choosing to remain quiet gives you time to cool down and choose your words carefully. This approach fosters healthier communication as it prevents the conversation from turning into a heated argument that could damage trust and respect. Silence also demonstrates emotional maturity and self-discipline. It shows that you are in control of your reactions and do not allow anger to dictate your behavior. People who can remain silent in moments of anger are often perceived as wise and composed, earning greater respect from those around them. Instead of reacting immediately, they take a step back, assess the situation, and respond only when they are in the right state of mind. Additionally, being silent when angry can help you understand the true nature of the issue at hand. Sometimes, what we initially perceive as a major problem turns out to be minor once we take a moment to reflect. If you allow yourself time to process your emotions before speaking, you may realize that what upsets you isn't worth addressing, or you may find a more constructive way to communicate your concerns. This can prevent unnecessary confrontations and preserve relationships that might otherwise be strained by hasty words. Finally, choosing silence when angry encourages self-awareness and personal growth. It allows you to examine why certain things trigger your emotions and what underlying issues may need to be addressed within yourself. Instead of engaging in an unproductive argument, you can use that time to develop patience, mindfulness, and emotional intelligence, which will benefit not only your personal relationships, but also your overall well-being. When you don't have all the facts, speaking too soon can lead to misunderstandings, false assumptions, and even the spread of misinformation. It is natural to want to share thoughts and opinions, especially when a situation seems urgent or emotionally charged. However, reacting without fully understanding the details can cause confusion and even harm. Words hold power, and once they are spoken, they cannot be taken back. That is why remaining silent until you have all the necessary information is a sign of wisdom and careful judgment. Often people jump to conclusions based on partial information, rumors, or their own biases. This can lead to unfair accusations, unnecessary conflicts, and embarrassment when the truth eventually comes to light. It is easy to assume we know the full picture, when in reality we are only seeing a fraction of it. By choosing to stay silent and gather all the facts first, we give ourselves the opportunity to see the situation clearly and form an informed opinion. A rushed response, especially in sensitive matters, can damage relationships and reputations, both our own and others. Silence in such moments is also a way of demonstrating patience and intellectual humility. No one knows everything, and it is important to acknowledge that our understanding may be incomplete. Speaking without full knowledge not only increases the risk of being wrong, but also makes it more difficult to correct mistakes later. If we spread incorrect information or make false claims, we may have to deal with the consequences, including losing credibility and trust. Instead, taking time to listen, research, and verify details ensures that when we do speak, our words carry accuracy and weight. In many cases, remaining silent until all the facts are clear can prevent unnecessary drama and tension. Many conflicts arise simply because people react emotionally to what they think is true, rather than what is actually happening. Misunderstandings in personal relationships, workplace settings, and even public discussions often stem from premature judgments. By refraining from speaking too soon, we allow space for clarity, rational thought, and better decision-making. This approach fosters better communication and helps build a reputation as someone who speaks with reason and fairness rather than impulse. Furthermore, silence provides an opportunity to observe and absorb more information. When we choose not to rush into speaking, we open ourselves up to listening more carefully. We can analyze the perspectives of others, recognize key details we may have missed, and gain a deeper understanding of the topic at hand. This ability to listen and observe before responding is a skill that strengthens relationships and improves problem-solving abilities. People are more likely to trust and respect those who take the time to understand before they speak. In an era where information spreads rapidly through social media and digital communication, the importance of waiting until the full picture emerges cannot be overstated. False news, misinterpretations, and half-truths often circulate before the facts are verified. Many people fall into the trap of reacting immediately only to later realize they were misled. Choosing silence in such situations not only protects us from being part of misinformation, but also encourages responsible communication. Taking the time to verify facts before making statements ensures that our words contribute to truth rather than confusion. Words have the power to heal, encourage, and uplift, but they also have the power to hurt, damage, and create lasting wounds. Once spoken, words cannot be taken back, and even a simple statement can leave a deep impact on someone's emotions and self-esteem. In moments when words could cause harm, choosing to remain silent is often the wiser path. It is easy to speak without fully considering the effects of our words, especially in situations where emotions run high, but exercising restraint can prevent unnecessary pain and misunderstandings. Many conflicts and broken relationships stem from careless or harsh words. In moments of frustration, disappointment, or disagreement, it can be tempting to say things impulsively without realizing how they might be received. Even if the intention is not to hurt, words spoken in the heat of the moment can linger in the minds of others for a long time. A single comment can destroy trust, damage someone's confidence, or create emotional distance that takes years to repair. Silence in such moments provides an opportunity to reflect on whether what we are about to say is truly necessary or if it will only add negativity to the situation. Silence is particularly important when dealing with sensitive topics. Everyone has insecurities, past wounds, and personal struggles that are not always visible. A joke or casual remark might seem harmless to one person, but deeply painful to another. What may be said in jest or sarcasm could be taken seriously, leading to unintended emotional distress. Choosing silence in these situations allows us to be more considerate of others' feelings and prevents unintentional harm. Before speaking, it is always valuable to ask whether our words will uplift or hurt, whether they are constructive or destructive. Another crucial aspect of knowing when to be silent is recognizing that not every opinion needs to be voiced. In today's world, people are quick to criticize, judge, or comment on others' lives, decisions, and appearances. However, unsolicited criticism or harsh judgments rarely lead to positive outcomes. Silence in such moments is a sign of wisdom and self-control. If words do not serve a purpose in helping, supporting, or encouraging someone, then they may not need to be spoken at all. Being mindful of when to hold back comments can help create a more understanding and compassionate environment in personal relationships, workplaces, and social interactions. There are also moments when words might be true but still unnecessary. Just because something is factual does not mean it needs to be said, especially if it does not contribute to a positive or meaningful outcome. Sometimes silence is more powerful than stating the obvious, particularly when the truth could be painful or discouraging. People often remember how we make them feel more than the exact words we say. So choosing silence in situations where words could wound can preserve relationships and emotional well-being. Beyond preventing harm, silence also gives us time to choose our words more carefully. Instead of reacting instantly, taking a moment to pause allows us to reframe our thoughts and find a better way to communicate. This does not mean avoiding difficult conversations, but rather ensuring that when we do speak, our words are thoughtful and considerate. A well-timed, kind response is far more effective than a hasty, harsh remark. Silence, in this sense, is not weakness, but a form of strength that allows for more meaningful and productive communication. Listening is one of the most valuable skills a person can develop. Yet it is often overlooked in favor of speaking. Many people listen only with the intent to reply rather than with the intent to understand, which leads to miscommunication and a lack of meaningful connection. When others are speaking, remaining silent is a sign of respect and attentiveness. It allows the speaker to express themselves fully without feeling interrupted, dismissed, or overshadowed. Silence in these moments creates a space where conversations can flow naturally, fostering deeper relationships and more effective communication. Interrupting someone while they are speaking not only disrupts their train of thought, but also sends a message that their words are not valued. It can make the speaker feel unheard and unimportant, leading to frustration or even resentment. People want to feel that their thoughts and experiences matter, and one of the simplest ways to show this is by allowing them to speak without unnecessary interruptions. By staying silent and actively listening, we validate their feelings and perspectives, making them more comfortable and willing to share. In professional settings, the ability to remain silent and listen is especially important. Whether in meetings, negotiations, or discussions, speaking too soon or too often can hinder the flow of ideas and create misunderstandings. A good listener gains insight into what others truly mean rather than making assumptions or jumping to conclusions. Silence provides the opportunity to absorb information fully, think critically, and respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. In leadership roles, those who listen more than they speak are often seen as wise and level-headed, earning the respect and trust of their colleagues. Silence while listening also allows for better problem solving. When people are given the chance to express themselves completely, they often reveal details that might otherwise be missed in a rushed conversation. Those who listen patiently can pick up on underlying concerns, emotions, or needs that may not be immediately obvious. This can be especially important in personal relationships, where understanding a loved one's true feelings requires more than just hearing their words. It requires paying attention to tone, body language, and emotions as well. By staying silent, we give ourselves the opportunity to pick up on these subtle cues and respond in a way that is more compassionate and supportive. Additionally, being silent while others speak encourages an open and respectful exchange of ideas in group discussions, debates, or sensitive conversations. Silence allows everyone to contribute equally rather than letting the loudest voice dominate. When people feel heard, they are more likely to engage in meaningful dialogue rather than becoming defensive or withdrawn. This is especially crucial when discussing differing opinions, as interrupting or speaking over someone can escalate tensions instead of leading to understanding. By remaining silent and listening, we create an environment where all voices are valued, fostering more productive and respectful conversations. Choosing to be silent when someone else is speaking also demonstrates patience and self-discipline. It can be tempting to jump in with a response, especially when we strongly agree or disagree with what is being said. However, waiting until the speaker has finished allows us to process their message fully before formulating our own thoughts. This prevents miscommunication, reduces the chances of saying something we might regret, and leads to more thoughtful and meaningful interactions. Silence in these moments is not just about refraining from speech. It is about creating space for deeper understanding, connection, and mutual respect. When someone provokes you, whether through harsh words, criticism, or intentional attempts to anger you, the natural instinct is often to respond immediately. However, reacting impulsively in such situations can escalate conflicts and lead to unnecessary arguments. Silence in the face of provocation is a powerful tool that allows you to maintain control over your emotions and prevent the situation from worsening. Instead of giving in to the urge to defend yourself or retaliate, staying silent can demonstrate strength, patience, and wisdom. People who provoke others often do so to get a reaction. They may be looking for a way to manipulate emotions, start a confrontation, or bring others down to their level of negativity. When you remain silent, you deny them the satisfaction of seeing you upset or affected by their words. This can discourage further provocation as they realize that their attempts are ineffective. Silence in this way serves as a form of self-defense, protecting your peace of mind and emotional well-being. Silence also gives you time to assess the situation rationally. When provoked, emotions can cloud judgment, leading to words or actions that may later be regretted. By not responding immediately, you allow yourself the opportunity to consider whether a response is even necessary. Many times, arguments and conflicts arise simply because people react too quickly without thinking things through. Taking a step back and choosing silence can prevent unnecessary misunderstandings and help you determine the best course of action. Furthermore, remaining silent in moments of provocation allows you to preserve your dignity and composure. Engaging in a heated exchange often leads to saying things in the heat of the moment that do not truly reflect your character. Even if the other person is being rude, disrespectful, or unreasonable, responding in kind only lowers you to their level. Choosing silence, on the other hand, shows self-respect and emotional maturity. It sends the message that you refuse to engage in negativity and that your peace is more important than proving a point. In professional settings, silence in response to provocation can be particularly beneficial. Conflicts in the workplace can arise from disagreements, competition, or personal tensions, and responding emotionally can have long-term consequences. Reacting impulsively in such situations can damage your reputation, harm relationships with colleagues, or even lead to disciplinary action. By remaining silent and composed, you demonstrate professionalism and self-control, which can earn the respect of others and help de-escalate tense situations. Silence allows you to handle the matter with a level-headed approach rather than getting drawn into unnecessary conflict. In personal relationships, silence when provoked can prevent lasting damage. Arguments between friends, family members, or partners often start with small disagreements that escalate because neither person is willing to pause and reflect before responding. Hurtful words said in anger can linger long after the argument is over, causing emotional wounds that take time to heal. By choosing silence instead of reacting immediately, you create space for both yourself and the other person to cool down. This can lead to more productive discussions later, where issues can be addressed calmly and with greater understanding. Silence does not mean weakness or submission. Rather, it is a strategic decision that allows you to maintain power over your own emotions and responses. It does not mean that you should always ignore mistreatment or avoid addressing important issues, but rather that you should choose the right moment and manner to respond. Sometimes the best response is no response at all, especially when dealing with individuals who are only looking to stir up negativity. By refusing to engage, you set boundaries and show that you will not be drawn into unnecessary drama. Additionally, practicing silence in moments of provocation helps develop patience and emotional intelligence. It teaches you to recognize triggers, manage your reactions, and avoid being controlled by anger or frustration. Over time, this ability to remain calm in difficult situations can improve your overall well-being, reduce stress, and enhance your relationships with others. It allows you to focus on what truly matters rather than wasting energy on meaningless conflicts. Silence is often more powerful than words, and in certain situations, it conveys messages that speech never could. There are moments in life when remaining silent is the best response, not because there is nothing to say, but because silence itself carries meaning. It can express emotions, command respect, demonstrate wisdom, and even influence others without the need for a single word. Knowing when silence speaks louder than words is an essential skill that can enhance personal and professional relationships, strengthen self-awareness, and bring clarity to complex situations. One of the most profound ways silence communicates is through presence. When someone is grieving, struggling, or facing difficulties, words often fall short. People may feel the need to offer advice or find the right thing to say, but sometimes no words can truly ease the pain. In such moments, simply being there and offering silent support can be far more meaningful than any spoken reassurance. A quiet presence shows empathy, understanding, and solidarity, letting the other person know they are not alone, without overwhelming them with words that may feel empty or forced. Silence can also be a sign of strength and confidence. In heated discussions or arguments, the person who remains silent often holds the most power. Speaking impulsively in an attempt to defend oneself or prove a point can sometimes weaken a position rather than strengthen it. When someone chooses silence instead of reacting emotionally, it can create an air of authority and self-control. This can make others more inclined to listen when the time finally comes to speak. A well-placed pause or moment of silence can shift the energy of a conversation, making words that follow carry more weight and impact. In professional settings, silence can be a strategic tool. During negotiations, for example, silence can create discomfort for the opposing party, prompting them to reveal more information or make concessions. Those who can sit quietly and let others talk often gain the upper hand because they have the patience to observe, analyze, and respond carefully. Similarly, in leadership, a person who speaks less but listens more is often seen as wise and thoughtful. Leaders who do not rush to fill every gap with words, but instead choose their moments carefully, tend to be more respected and influential. Silence also has the power to de-escalate conflicts. When emotions run high, responding immediately can intensify the situation, whereas silence can bring a sense of calm. It allows people to cool down, reflect, and reconsider their approach. A well-timed pause before responding to criticism or provocation can prevent unnecessary arguments and demonstrate maturity. It can also force the other person to reflect on their own words and actions, sometimes leading them to correct themselves without any intervention. There are also situations where silence acts as a boundary. Not every question requires an answer, and not every accusation needs a defense. Choosing silence in response to gossip, insults, or attempts to provoke a reaction can be a powerful way to disengage from negativity. It shows that a person is not easily manipulated into unnecessary drama, and that they value their peace over engaging in fruitless exchanges. Silence in such cases is not about avoidance, but about self-respect and the understanding that some things do not deserve a response. Beyond its use in interactions with others, silence can also serve as a tool for personal growth. In moments of introspection, stepping away from constant noise and conversation can bring clarity and deeper understanding. Taking time to be silent allows for reflection, helping people process emotions, make thoughtful decisions, and gain insight into their own thoughts and behaviors. It creates a space for mindfulness, reducing stress and fostering a sense of inner peace. Those who embrace silence as a regular practice often find themselves more in tune with their own needs and goals, making them better equipped to navigate life's challenges. Silence is not a sign of weakness or passivity. Rather, it is a conscious choice that can communicate wisdom, strength, and emotional intelligence. Whether it is used to comfort someone, command respect, de-escalate conflict, set boundaries, or gain deeper self-awareness, silence often speaks louder than words. It is a skill that, when mastered, can lead to more meaningful connections, better decision-making, and a greater sense of control over one's own emotions and interactions. In a world where words are often used hastily and without thought, learning when to be silent is a sign of wisdom, strength, and self-awareness. Silence is not just the absence of speech. It is a powerful tool that can prevent misunderstandings, protect relationships, and bring clarity to difficult situations. Whether it is choosing not to speak when emotions are high, holding back when facts are unclear, or simply listening with patience and understanding, silence often carries more weight than words ever could. By mastering the art of silence, we gain control over our emotions, improve our communication, and cultivate deeper connections with those around us. We learn that not every thought needs to be voiced, not every battle needs to be fought, and sometimes the most impactful thing we can do is simply remain quiet. In doing so, we foster a sense of peace, wisdom, and self-discipline that benefits both ourselves and those we interact with. So let us embrace silence when necessary, using it not as a sign of weakness, but as a mark of intelligence and grace. When we learn to be silent in the right situations, we open the door to greater understanding, stronger relationships, and a more thoughtful approach to life.